Hello and welcome to UC Today. I'm Senior Editor Tom Wright, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Jim from Immersitech. How's it going, Jim?
Great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you, and it's fantastic to have you on the show. We're going to be talking a bit about spatial audio today, but I think to start with, it would be really good to get an idea of Immersitech, the company, sort of where you come from, where you're specialising in, and what it is you're focusing on at the moment.
No, that sounds great. And so, to just give a little bit of background on Immersitech, we were formed to really take some exciting new concepts and patented technology and kind of bring it to the online communication space. And so the drivers of that were the fact that, having been like many people on endless conference calls and just communication experiences that were not great, they weren't engaging, you felt like you were completely exhausted at the end of the day. We felt the opportunity to kind of really get focused and build a company around kind of solving some of the key challenges that were plaguing larger communication companies was a great opportunity to kind of make end users' lives a little better, as well as take some of this really exciting technology that we had come across that was developed within the confines of places like Princeton University and a number of other very kind of inventive, exciting people that said something needs to be done to improve the engagement of people that were on these communication platforms. And so we also, I think, wanted to make something that was more fun and productive as a result of, the fact that so many people, especially with the pandemic, had been spending literally their entire days for what feels like weeks on end on online and trying to kind of tend to all the other things that they had going on in their lives. That fatiguing feeling and just the coming off of the experiences where you didn't feel like it was productive, you didn't feel like you were getting what you wanted out of it, that, something had to be done to make it better. And so we created Immersitech to really get focused on making it a great experience. We know that today a lot of the platforms kind of have a single stream of audio that comes out. It's hard to decipher, who's talking, who are the various people in the conference, and just kind of the muddle of so many people being engaged at the same time that, the opportunity to kind of deconstruct that and bring about kind of more of the personalities of people and really bring that into experiences, be it distance learning or business communications, or really the thing we see that's really exciting is in social entertainment and kind of being able to just group chat with your friends and family and not using kind of that same single stream of audio anymore, but making it so when we get to talking more about spatial, kind of some really exciting things that can be done to kind of positionalize people in a way that separates them and brings back kind of more of the in-person experience to communications, and making it so that they're not feeling like they're 200 miles away or 1,000 miles away, that they feel like they're across the table and at the kitchen table and really communicating in a much more effective and kind of personalized way. And so that's kind of why we created Immersitech. And really since 2018, we've been building a number of technologies that I think bring that capability to life.
So many people will have heard the term spatial audio, perhaps even in their personal lives, maybe thinking about listening to music or watching a film, perhaps. But could you give us an idea of what it can bring to the table if you're talking about unified communications in a business, and especially given that there's a lot of remote working and hybrid working in businesses at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. And so kind of carrying on that thought process of, today just everybody coming through speakers in kind of a uniform, monotone way, spatial audio really kind of takes a step back and brings it back to some of the basics of how do we hear things and how does the brain process information, especially audio information, to make it so that we can understand like who's on the right of us, who's on the left, what's the attributes of how far away they might be as well. And so when you kind of crunch all that down into a very kind of assimilated mono experience, all those great benefits of audio are kind of taken out of the mix. And spatial audio allows us to kind of bring all of that back. It takes the benefits of, be it you're on headphones or listening to a pair of stereo speakers, you don't need a great deal of specialized equipment to take advantage of the technologies that we're bringing to the market, and that you have the opportunity to take audio that comes in. Let's say there's 4 or 5 of us on a conference call, and we have the opportunity to say, okay, you know, Jim is sitting here. We have Bill that's across the table, Pete, and a number of others that may be engaged in the conference. And spatial audio allows you to positionalize those audio tracks, or essentially their audio streams from those participants, and make them come naturally from where they would typically be sitting, either in a in-person conference or in a gaming environment. You can make them move along with the player as they sweep along the gaming environment. And when you're playing those games, you feel like that distance. You feel those attributes of what's exciting about kind of crouching down behind something and hearing your friends kind of yelling over to you, just like if you were out playing paintball or something like that, and getting those kind of more exciting attributes of the communication experience than listening to it as kind of a mono, you know, non-spatialized experience. And, you know, the technology, I think, in just backing up for a moment, is, you know, the excitement of being able to take just a standard pair of stereo speakers or a plain set of headphones and recreate that immersive experience is, I think, one of the best parts of the technology that we're bringing forth, in that there was some exciting patented elements of what there's a gentleman, Dr. Schwery, out of Princeton University, that patented some very exciting technology for use in speakers that makes it so you can recreate a whole soundscape of kind of a real, you know, sit down discussion, or be it a concert, things along those lines, and recreate it with just a very standard pair of speakers, and give the participant that feeling of being there. And that's the kind of technology that we believe, you know, can bring back the ability for participants to feel more engaged, to feel like they have the opportunity to participate in a way that not only that they can hear people, and I'll talk a bit more about some other things that we do that really takes spatial audio and makes it significantly better, like getting rid of noise and distractions and things like that, and also clarifying voices. But people also want to be heard. And so that's another key element, that, you know, it's not just being able to hear things when you're in those experiences, but feeling like you're heard, and that people are really kind of engaged and paying attention to you. And spatial audio really provides that opportunity to do that.
I know you've got some really interesting use cases at Immersitech, and you mentioned gaming there a little bit already. So could you talk us through kind of the verticals that you're really looking at the moment, and give us some examples of the profiles and the types of companies that we'd expect to be Immersitech customers?
Absolutely. And I think initially we felt there's a great opportunity in kind of the large university or unified communication space. Obviously, people that are joining most of their work conferences and things are familiar with the WebExes and the Zooms and all these exciting, very dynamic, capable platforms. But in many cases, they still experience a lot of audio issues that plague those platforms, which is what we're targeting to address and provide those kinds of companies with additional capability to make it a more engaging experience. And so unified communications, and that includes, right, the large communication companies that span the globe. And it can be as simple as point-to-point calling, for us being able to get rid of noise and improve the clarity of voices in communications that may span large, long spans, you know, internationally. And break out from there into much larger conferences or events. Events has become a tremendous kind of, I think, boom in the industry of being able to take with the pandemic, all of the attributes of what you do with a conference call and make a platform that also has all the content management, all the exciting attributes of being able to get into something, kind of feel like you understand how it's going to play out and how you're going to engage in it. And our piece of that is making it so that when they connect into the audio experiences, especially when kind of in a real conference event, if you were attending it personally, you're kind of going around, you're meeting new people, and you want to have kind of those more personalized experiences. Spatial audio really allows that to start happening, where you could literally be walking around the expo floor and seeing people in 3D real time and turn and talk to them and have conversations in more a natural and realistic way than kind of clicking on them or chatting via text, things along those lines. And so I think unified communications and the attributes of how that's evolving are very exciting. So we're very focused on that. Secondarily, we're seeing just an amazing kind of upcropping of what I'd call social entertainment. And so that's the elements of what you see with multiplayer gaming and all the online experiences that go along with that, and just large scale gaming events and really competitive group kinds of events, right? Where it's people socially talking while they're exercising, all kinds of different exciting elements of being able to get together, communicate, but not have to drive 50 miles to see your best friend and have kind of a chat about how the kids are doing and things like that. Obviously, things with sporting events and concerts, right? That's really evolved in a really cool and unique way. And that now fans can start to immerse themselves in those kinds of events in new ways that who would have thought, a year and a half ago, that you'd be sitting kind of in a VIP suite that's completely virtual, sitting next to maybe your brother who lives, 100 miles away, and watching your favorite teams play against each other and chat about it and be able to see different perspectives of the game, but be talking to each other in a way like you're sitting on the couch together. I mean, this is the kind of cool stuff that spatial audio, along with some just amazing technologies that are being developed by these platforms, are bringing about. And then just kind of your more traditional social engagement platforms and being able to kind of talk to your family and keep in contact with your best friends from high school. And I was talking yesterday to somebody about the fact that, before it'd be like I'd post something on a social platform and, somebody'd respond back. Now especially with some of the younger generations, of just being able to kind of click and all of a sudden you're talking to 5 of your good friends from all over the place and having the same kind of conversation that you would have had if you were getting out, at the end of school and just getting together. I mean, it's so cool, I think, about the use cases that exist for kind of taking technology that we have, which kind of, first of all, get rid of the noise and the distractions, right? I think a lot of complaints that people have about the technology today is that there's still too many distractions. We need to get rid of the attributes that you don't want to hear. And so providing technologies that allow you to kind of peel that back and then enhance the things that you do want to hear. I need to hear people that may be talking a little softer and don't have as demanding or commanding a voice, and can raise that up. And so, getting rid of noise, enhancing with voice clarity the things that really do matter. And then once you spatialize it, it feels natural, and people are going to want to be in those kinds of experience versus dreading going to the next one. And so that's, from a market perspective, we see in those two areas, unified communications and kind of social entertainment, a tremendous amount of opportunity for the products that we're building.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the potential use cases and the benefits of the technology can spread across to a huge range of companies and verticals. So could you maybe give us an indication or perhaps some clues of what we can expect to see from the business over the coming months and maybe moving into next year?
Absolutely. I think, in taking a look at how some of those markets that we talked about are evolving, I think you're seeing more and more personalized experiences, so that when, myself as a participant coming into these experiences, that I will have the ability to, have my audio experience tailored in such a way that, for instance, I'm more inclined to like more trebly, higher end frequency type experiences, and then there's people that have really a distinct interest in more bass oriented or low, especially for music and things like that, that may be intertwined with the communications, right? You're listening to a concert or things like that. And so, our opportunity is to really take and make the tailoring of those experiences as a toolkit for the platforms, giving them a lot of controls and exciting new ways of being able to experience communications in general. Like two of the things that we just recently have added into our toolkit is effectively a whisper mode. So, the opportunity to go into a meeting, you want to have the opportunity to kind of lean over and have a discussion with the person you typically be sitting next to at the table and say, hey, what do you think of this? Or, hey, I can't remember what that number was. And the toolkit allows for kind of that opportunity where you can go into kind of a sidebar, still hear the associated information in the general meeting, but do it via audio versus many people try to do it via chat or, texting. And honestly, it's very difficult to have complex conversations in those venues. And just being able to use fundamental audio and hearing the tone of your voice and things like that can really make a difference in how those experiences will play out. And the other thing I would highlight is that, like I said, personalized experiences also mean that, let's say there's 5 or 6 people that could be in a room, and frankly, you want to hone in potentially on a specific person or the things that matter to you in a conversation. Being able to distinctly break apart multiple people in the same room and be able to have separate audio streams for each individual. This is important for the ability when you're in like a contact center experience or things like that, where you create transcripts that are attributed to the right people. You have the ability to essentially just listen to potentially one person's track versus everybody's tracks. And so, the things that we want to do with machine learning and kind of related AI experiences is going to be a tremendous focus of ours. Really taking some very cool, neat attributes of what machine learning brings to the table and applying it to audio and kind of that immersive experience, we think will make some very exciting products in the future.
One of the things you said that really resonated with me, and it's the ability to kind of whisper to the person next to you in a meeting, which we've all kind of lost, I suppose, going remote. And just thinking about it then, it does feel like a lot of the advancements in these platforms has been very much on the visuals, like virtual backgrounds or being able to blur out your background if your home's a bit messy when you're in a meeting. So do you think, maybe the audio has kind of taken a backseat over the last 18 months to the visuals, and perhaps that might change moving forward?
Yes, absolutely. I think, over the past 18, 20 months, the fact that so many of these platforms were just focused on being able to provide service at a level that was unprecedented, and kudos to them for effectively being able to deal with, 5, 10 times the number of participants is a real testament to how strong the industry is in being able to provide service of a certain level. And I think, audio at a certain level is something that's become accepted, right? And I think it takes kind of that sea change of hearing things in a new and unique way, that once you start seeing people experience those things, get off those calls and say, wow, I don't feel as exhausted. I really kind of understood what some of those people were saying, that I do believe now that those platforms have an opportunity, now that they've really been able to address the scaling issues, that they're going to incorporate new technologies in the audio space and bring that to the next level. Because like you said, obviously getting video and, backgrounds are important because people didn't want, their personal spaces to be kind of critiqued by their coworkers and friends. And, now kind of taking audio to that next level, I do think is a natural next step. But it has to be in a way like we talked about with Spatial, it has to be a better solution. It can't just be like many, many years ago, we all experienced what kind of HD audio was supposed to bring to the telecommunications market. And it never really kind of made it, other than the fact that today we do have a higher level of audio on many platforms. But I think it's making it so it takes that mono experience and breaks it into something that's more natural and kind of spatial. And that I do think will be the sea change. And you already see it. A number of very large, exciting companies are bringing technology and saying spatial audio is going to be kind of one of the next big things. And how about being able to bring that beyond music and movies and things like that, bring it into your living room and visiting with your family and friends or your coworkers, and have that as a great platform for growth. And so I do see that forthcoming.
Okay, well, Jim, it's been great to have you on, and I hope we can stay in touch as audio continues to develop as we move into the new year.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me today.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and a share on social media, and we'll see you again soon.